No matter how hard we try to ignore or sadly absorb social evil and certain attitudes and insults that are directed at us, it's still pretty hard to completely prevent them from kind of controlling our state of mind, our mood, and our future actions. For example, I think I've been sucking up a little bit too much recently. And I'm not telling you this in order to victimize myself, because everybody is a victim of this. Everybody from the social, no, for the social, the homeless man on the street to Elon Musk is still suffering from social evil. No matter, and I bring up those two polar opposite examples because Elon Musk is really rich, he has a really pronounced status, and the homeless man is basically the exact opposite of that. But they both still are victims of social evil and insults and a lot of daily harassment, I'm sure. The homeless man because people harass him for being of a lower social rank, and Elon Musk because he's one of the most famous people on Earth. Of course, there are like 1,000 psychos every single day that are threatening to cut his throat. I think it's quite obvious that I'm not the only person that is sucking up, absorbing, or at least trying to ignore social evil. But it has completely wrecked my mood over the last couple of days. I've had to cry. I've had to do a lot of things in order to kind of heal from a lot of the things that have been said to me in real life and stuff like that. But why? Why couldn't I have why couldn't I have stopped those things from happening in the first place? And why will you probably be in the exact same situation as me if you do the exact same things that I have done? And why have you probably already found yourself in the exact same situation I'm in many times over? Well, an explanation is probably just an over sentimentality. Because if we want to look at a solution, we of course need to find a solution that find an answer that we are responsible for changing. So if literally the only reason that you are upset is because you choose your mood, well, that's much better than just saying those people are degenerates and do not know how to speak to people. They do not know how to make a person feel good. They do not know. They do not have a little bit of knowledge when it comes to social skills. No, we first need to actually look at what we're responsible for, because of course we won't be able to control anything if we don't do that in the first place. But this over sentimentality is 100 times more pronounced if you have the slightest idea of what makes a person social and what are acceptable social skills. If you call people by their name, if you check in on people, if you tell them, if you say good night to them, if you say good morning to them, if you actually have a little bit of knowledge on what makes a person sociable and likable, it's going to be a lot worse. Because every single time that you kind of put in effort to make another person feel good, you're kind of sacrificing a little bit of your good mood in order to, I don't know, I don't want to use the word infect, but transmit it upon another human being. So when you do that all day in order to be a likable human being, and preferably with people that you actually like, not with morons, and morons treat you back with disrespect and insults and stuff and actions that make you feel like an absolute outcast and degenerate, it's pretty hard. It's pretty hard. But in my opinion, the absolute best thing that we can do in order to actually prevent breakdowns in the future, because of course we can't just like ignore things. If somebody punches you in the mouth, you probably need to punch them back. I'm going to be very, very honest with you. In Yeah, a lot of people say that you should respond, not react, and I still think that's just totally valid. But if you don't react, you'll be hoarding all of your emotions in like a little box in your brain, and eventually they will burst. Yeah. And this is also relevant when I'll just draw a little parallel with politics. People think that women are not fit to run as president or be president or hold high positions in politics because they make decisions based on emotions and not on logic. But I think that sometimes that is a little bit more valid than just doing them from a purely empirical point of view. This is called, when it comes in philosophy, this is like ethical emotivism, which is what Alex O'Connor is, an ethical emotivist. Where do I want to go with this? Well, my idea is that men feel so feel absolutely alone and degenerate and it's awful in the modern day because they need to box up all of these emotions in order to fulfill the goal of being a masculine, logical man. Whilst women, yeah, they, like, I don't know, statistically cry more than men, whatever, but they are able to express their emotions a little bit more freely. They are not handcuffed by the idea of, I need to be logical, I can't respond to this, I need to be a stoic. And of course, there are a lot of female stoics that are way, way better than a lot of stoic men, because stoic men just look at every single thing that happens in their day-to-day life and never react to any of it. But in my opinion, we need to combine stoicism with a little bit of emotivism. We need to be sentimental, but also a stoic when, okay, let's find some situations where you need to be a stoic and some situations where you need to be, no. I just came up with a structure. So, let's say, for example, okay, somebody is just acting atrociously with you. Well, you probably should do something about it. If your immediate reaction would be, I don't know, sucker punching them in the nose, well, probably don't do that, but still say something to them. If they make a really uncomfortable comment, you need to tell them that, hey, I don't like that comment. That really doesn't make me feel good. Hey, please stop doing that. Because if not, they're gonna do that again and again and again and again, and that person is eventually going to contribute a lot to your future breakdown or breakdowns. So, being a motivist when it comes to people just acting atrociously to you, but after actually letting that reaction out, be a stoic about it. Use the mentality that if they're acting like this with you, they probably aren't really happy, even though that this everything I just said is basically just, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't make you feel any better. But if you really think about it, every single time that you are faced with atrocious behavior, well, eventually maybe it will kind of sediment itself into your mentality. But in my opinion, you should probably just react to get that emotion out of your system. Because if you let it rot inside of you and become stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger, you will fall victim to multiple breakdowns, crying, stuff like that. Things that shouldn't happen in a good life. That, of course, sometimes should happen because suffering is just such an essential part to life. But things that you don't want to be happening repeatedly. And every single time a person is treating you poorly or they do something that you don't like, call it out. Because social evil is meant to die out pretty rapidly, not to slowly infect itself into the optimistic hearts of youth, middle-aged people, elderly people, and just start sedimenting, just start brewing something inside of them that was never supposed to be there. So, Send this video to somebody that you love, and I'll see you later.